G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I like to teach beginners and advanced beginners how to paint in acrylic. Now, today is something different. I'm going to show you how to practice your art. A lot of people don't realise you've got to practice before you do a painting. They might see a tutorial and think, well, I want to paint that and try and paint it, but they don't realise, hey, hang on a minute, you need to practice. And this video is all about showing you how to practice, because I do get many followers of mine asking, I tried to paint you like yours, but it looks nothing like it. I'm so disappointed. That's okay, you're learning, but don't be disappointed. Just realise you've got to practice. I'm going to show you how to practice. So get on over here and we'll get right into this. Now, it's all about practicing, and we don't want to ruin or waste our good canvases on practicing procedures and subjects for a painting. So what I've gone and done here, I've just got some appliance cardboard I bought a microwave, and this was the box it's in, and I thought, you know what? That is good enough to practice art on. It's just going to get wasted, so why not use it? Now, a big thank you for Dating Scout for this photograph here that I found. Now, let's just say, all right, I've done this as a tutorial, or somebody else has, and you think, I want to do it, and you're following the tutorial, but hang on a minute, you're a beginner and you haven't practiced. I'm going to show you how to practice. So let's have a look, just what's in this picture as an example. Now, realise you can add and subtract whatever you want. You don't even have to have all these trees here if you want. You can have just the water and the tree, the sky, or just the sky and the water, whatever. But let's say we've got a sky, we've got a palm, or we've got a shadow going there, and we've got some water. So let's practice those elements. And along with the palm, we've got some trees. It can be palm trees or just any tree to make your art look fantastic, okay? So let's practice the procedures. Okay, we've got a sky. Let's practice a sky. So the way I love to paint a sky is first background paint it, prime it with some soft acrylic paint, a real soft bodied acrylic paint, which I just call craft white, and some retarder, so to slow down the drying time. And now that cardboard is a lot drier than a normal canvas, so let's see how we go here. We're practicing, imagining you've already practiced 7 to 70, 84 skies, and you want to do a painting, so you're practicing your sky. This is one of your skies, so we're putting this onto our practice, let's just call it cardboard. So we've got that on there, and doesn't worry if it buckles and bends, it's just for practicing. So look at that, I can see a lot of brush strokes in there. I'll try and get the whole thing covered to see what we can get out of this. Now this is just simple cardboard from a appliance box, microwave box. So, and I'm doing what I do in my videos, I'm stroking it left and right like a pure gentleman. There we go. Now we're going to grab our blue for the sky colour. And remember, start from the top, we're practicing. So yeah, bring it from the top down to the horizon line. There's some lines in there. Well, it's practicing. Let's just forgive those and crisscross them out. Use the tip of your brush, crisscross it, work out how the brush is working. Oh no, how did that happen? I wouldn't want that to happen on my real canvas. Why did that happen? Oh, it's because the thick paint there is what hit it. So I'll go back to the tip of my brush, knowing not to do that when I'm painting a beauty on my canvas. There we go. Now we're practicing a sky. He said put some grey at the bottom to make it look real. So I've got some grey here, and we'll quickly put some grey at the bottom of the horizon there. Let's say along here, there's the horizon, getting a haze at the bottom of the sky. Yeah, I'm liking that, that looks good. I've used the tip of the brush, so I'll realise using the tip of the brush got that on easier. I know what I'm going to do in my real painting. Okay, now we can practice some clouds. So grabbing your titanium white onto that retarded surface that you got there, you've got the retarded surface with the sky colour on top of it with no retarder in it. Now we want to practice some clouds. So clouds are good practice. We'll put something. What sort of cloud do you want to do? Let's just stamp on a footprint, stamp it on, smear it, make a body. Practice a cloud, practice it. See what's happening onto this cardboard. This is just simple, basic appliance box cardboard. I'm twisting it around. I'm doing something like this as I'm twisting it, because that's the way the wind creates the fluffy white clouds, I feel. Oh yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Now practice blending. All right, the guru says go like this, dance and stab, twist the bottom down. This is a bottom cloud, so we'll drag it. wipe it, he says, so I'm wiping it. I'm liking that, but I've got a bit of brush strokes. That's what practice is all about. You know how to get rid of them in the cloud. So I'm going to tickle the tops like he said. There you go. Tickle the tops. Now that bottom looks a bit wrong. I've got to practice how to get rid of that. So I'm practice smearing that into that grey haze, just like that. Pull it right along out of the painting. And if you feel your cloud's a bit too loud, dull it down a bit by rubbing it a bit more. This is acrylic paint. Acrylic paints can be very dry. We're practicing clouds, any sort of cloud. Now I want to pull this back down into the horizon again. So I'll bleed that down, drag it right across there, and you're practicing clouds. Now I want another cloud, so let's just keep practicing. Oh, in this painting, it's got some whispery ones there. I'd like to get that vibe in my painting. Let's practice that. So we'll do a bit at a time. Put it there. Let's see if this brush is going to blend it or it's too dry. And get rid of the edge, get rid of that hard edge. See how this has a hard edge? Get rid of that hard edge on those whispery ones. Hang on a minute, get rid of that. Pull it through, pull it through. There we go, I'm liking that. I want a bit more on there. So we'll put some over there like that. And get rid of that hard edge and just turn it into soft, light cotton floating into the sky. I'm no particular way I'm blending it. I'm just blending it the way my habits help me to blend. They're just high cirrus clouds. They're looking all right. In the picture I see a little bit of a one there, so I want to try that. Just try it, put it on, blend it down and away. How this is blending on the cardboard, it's a lot better product, lot better result on a canvas. This whispery, oh yeah, my brush is making up little soft whispery cirrus clouds. I quite like that. I might do that in all my paintings and make it my signature look in my clouds. That's how you create your art. So now you've practiced skies, you've practiced clouds, the haze. You just keep practicing that. That is a procedure within itself you need to practice. Whether the clouds look like this or look like that or something totally different, create your cloud layout and keep practicing that on this cardboard. And when you know you got it, when you pull out your canvas, you know you're not going to turn it into snot. Okay, you've done a lot of practicing on clouds. Let's start practicing some ocean and water, like there is in here. So we've got right across the bottom of the sky, right across the bottom of the sky. And instead of trying to paint the water like this, I'm just going to paint it all the way so I can bring whatever land I want over it, because that's the way I feel it'll work for me. I'm practicing. So I've looked at the painting. I can see it's like a turquoise and a dark turquoise there. So what I'll do, I'm practicing, I'll grab a turquoise and I'll have a dark turquoise along the horizon there and lighten it up as it comes forward to us. So there's me turquoise. What I think I will do, so as I don't get into trouble, I might just grab some of the craft white and put that onto my canvas / practice cardboard, just so I've got something for the paints to blend across, slide across. So I'll go to about there. That's going to be my horizon line. You're not worried too much how sharp your lines are, because this is all practice. I'm practicing water, ocean and water. Let's see how we go. So now I'm going to just quickly wipe that brush, and I want to grab me turquoise now and get that right across the horizon line. So what did he say? Let's practice stamping. So I'll stamp it right across the horizon line so I can get it on there. Practicing. Oh, look at that, was quite easy. Slow and steady won that race. Nice and easy, and it's dark. I'm going again because I want to be precise. Okay, now I will pull that. There we go. I'm able to pull that with the brush without it breaking into lots of little pieces. If you had tape across the top, you get a nice sharp edge. Anyway, there's our nice dark bit. I'll blend it down or smear it down into that white. There we go. And practice your water. I'm going to pick up some more white now, just on one side of the brush. I'll come from the bottom And we want this bottom light. Get that in there. These lines won't be in a canvas, so I won't have this issue. I know I'm just practicing. So then I'm going to pick up some more white, and when I rubbed it on, I wasn't controlling it, so I want to control out there, put it on, get the white, stamp it on where you want it to become lighter. You're practicing your water, your brush strokes and your movements. Wipe the brush. Now we'll pull that into our turquoise, bringing it up into the dark. I'll wipe the brush so I don't put too much light in there, because common sense is telling me if I go too high up, it's going to make all that dark light, and I don't want to redo it. There we go. So I've practiced getting a dark band of water coming to a brighter, lighter band of water, like it looks in here. Oh, and hang on a minute, there's a dark bit there. It looks like a bit of a short, small wave. We can do something like that. You can simply practice on your water. I'll get one edge of my brush loaded up, just on the edge, and we'll try and get just a very, I'll use a totally different brush if you want, just a band there, like so. Wipe the brush. Practice wiping the brush, seeing if it didn't work when you didn't wipe it, and if it does when it does wipe. And I'm going to come from here and just practice getting that dark band in my water. Oh yeah, so I'll go to the tip of the brush. Yeah, that's controlling where I want it to go. Come here and wipe it away. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Wow, I know how I'm going to do water now. I'm happy with that because I'm practicing. Okay, so we've been practicing simple, let's say this is a waterscape, which it is. Now let's practice some trees. Practice what brushes are going to work for you and practice how to use them. Watch your video and just see what the instructor is doing and how they're doing it, and analyze. Everything is analyzing as well and working out, right, I want that brush and I know I'm going to do it this way. I'm feeling confident. I've done enough practice. It's going to work on my canvas. So we'll go, I'm looking at that painting now. I'll put the sand in and then we'll bring up a palm tree. So we'll get the white sort of sand, and that shadow really makes it look good and real as well. So I want to try and practice shadows, not having them. I think the key to a shadow, let me think, I'm looking at the photo, I'm analysing. This is all part of practice, all right? I'm analysing. The shadow's not black, it's not thick, it's not dark, it's kind of grey, softer grey. It's not the same colour as the tree, it's not the same colour as they're sort of a grey colour. The edges closer to the object, the shadow is sharp. When the shadow's casting away, I can see it getting more lighter on the edges. It's not such a fine, sharp edge. Okay, I've got to understand that and make sure I do that in my painting as well. Don't have it a sharp edge all the way around. This is what analysing does for you. It's all part of your art journey. So let's get on over here and practice putting the sand and palm tree in. Okay, I'm going to try yellow ochre and white for me sand. So we'll get our yellow ochre going. That's too yellow, I want it more white, so we'll put a lot more. I'm just using that soft bodied titanium white. Grab some of that over there. I'm going to need more. This is what happens when you add the light colour into the dark. So next time when I'm practicing, I'm going to have the light colour and add the darker colour to that as I go. And then I won't have that problem because it's easier to darken up the light. You use less paint to darken a light, and I think you'd use more paint trying to lighten up a dark colour. That's what practicing is all about. See, that's not the colour we want. This is the colour we want. Now we'll get it across the bottom. I gave that a bit of a dry because it was picking up a bit too much of the turquoise. So I'll stamp this on. Now this doesn't have to be blended. This is the actual sand colour coming across the painting pretty much all the way out here somewhere like that. So I'm stamping it on so it's not grinding into that turquoise colour. There we go. And we'll try and give it a bit of a brush. Also, when I'm painting a painting, I know that I would want my watercolour dry 100% because see how it's picking up the turquoise there? You would want that happening in a real painting. bring along here. I'm using a softer flat brush now, and in the photo it's got a bit lipping out like that, so I'll put it in here as well, just so it doesn't look a bit wrong. And now I can just practice painting and brush stroking all this in over that colour there with a softer brush. This cardboard, the paint is just sitting on it. So I realise in my practicing, the canvas will be a lot more forgiving than this cardboard. It doesn't mean the cardboard's hard to practice on. It's excellent for practicing detail. I'm just showing you how to practice a full painting onto some cardboard here. That'll do. If I want, we can probably highlight a lot of that. So what did he say? And he should, oh yeah, so we'll just grab a bit more brighter colour. So I'll use what's in the brush, add a little bit more into that, just so I can find some highlighted areas. I'll practice coming along the front here. There we go. I've got the edge of the brush and I'm just practicing getting a nice glare of white there somewhere. I'm happy with that. And maybe something just glaring here. Oh yeah, I like the way that works. I've never done that on a painting before. Now that I've practiced it, I want to give it a go, and I know it'll work because I know I'm using a soft brush. I grabbed some of the turquoise and put it with that brown, but it's not dark enough. I'll grab a bit of burnt umber, see what that does. So I'm looked at the reference and I'm getting an idea. It's not black and it's not brown, but it's got that, yeah, there you go. You've practiced even mixing up some colours. And this flat brush is going to allow me to get something on there like that. So luckily I made a mouse stick, and I'll get this just underneath there, just to make it look like that's sitting down on the water. Get a little bit more and make some kind of edge here. So you're putting it on and then pulling it down like so. That's it. I've just practiced a bit of detail. I like it. That was easy. I'll put a dark bit there. Practice with your dark bits in the water. There's lots of little, probably bits of seaweed and those scabby little bits at the shoreline there. Don't overdo it. There's not a lot in the painting. So I'll just try and remember not to overdo things. There we go. Now you've just practiced skies, you've practiced water, different ways of doing water. Look at different waters and practice the waters. Practice them on your cardboard like this. I've practiced the foreground sand. This is in front of the water. It's not going under the water because I'm using the reference as a guide. But we've got a palm tree there. I've been analysing it. The trunk is grey to brown. So I will use, like Ian says, the dark colour first and bring it to a brighter colour. So I'll simply map in the trunk with the black. Let's say browny black, because he doesn't like it black and he doesn't like it brown. He has it browny black, so I'll do it browny black like the guru. Now I've been analysing the picture, and the trunk comes from the sand pretty much all the way up pretty high into the sky. So what I'll do, I've seen them do it before, they put the finishing point and the starting point there, and we can go up there. So then we know where we're going, and we just simply, if anything, it's skinnier at the top. The left hand side of this line is what I'm concentrating to keep sharp. Everything's dry. I'm practicing a basic, simple palm tree. Okay, that was easy. Now let's create the thickness. So, hang on, I've heard people say, don't paint it flat, paint it round. Okay, so I'm going to try this round. I'm practicing. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Now we're going to grab the other side of this and get it sharp. There we go. Now I'm practicing controlling my brush. I'll get that to the right side level there, and now I'm going to darken that up. Now I'm going to do what Ian said and analyse it, just see how it's looking. So I'm looking at that. I'm thinking the bottom's a bit too wide compared to the middle of it, so I want to kind of make it a bit more even. Looking at the picture as well, it does look a bit even, so I'll start getting it a bit more wider. Now I'm practicing and I'm thinking and working out how I'm using this brush in my hand, and I'm thinking when that dries a bit I can put the highlights on it. So if I just keep practicing trunks like that, I know I can do a palm tree. Okay, cool. Okay, we're going to grab the grey, grab it over here, and we want a bit of the brown in there. We want a grey brown. I'm looking at the tree and we need, I'll get a lot of that build up off the brush. Now I'm going to come from that very edge. He said don't leave a dark edge there, so I'll get right to the edge and let it scratch around. Okay, I'm liking that. Scratch it around. Oh, my brush is running out of paint. I better turn it around. Get rid of that dark edge like he said. Practice getting your trunks around. I'll do another pass here because it's a tree, it's nature. There we go. Yeah, I'm liking that. Now I'm looking at that. Get rid of that. Dark edge there as well. Okay, so I'm picking up the grey. Let's see if I need to dry the tree. Oh, that's okay. Getting some grey wrapped around. Not as much. I want that other colour that I just put on to still show through all this grey. Now I'm noticing on the picture there's a lot of darkness there that I don't have in my tree, so I can go back and detail the dark pockets over here. So I'll just copy on the tree there. There we go. And there's a few sort of banding up. So there's not really a lot down the bottom. So I'm analysing the reference, getting a vibe of what needs to happen on this tree to make it look real. There's a lot going in there. Okay, I've done a lot of palm trunks. I'm happy with the way my palm trunks look. Practice your palm trunks. Now, like Ian said, you can make it your own. I don't want those bushes. I'm going to put my own bush here. So, how did he... Okay, you've got to put the dark bit down first. So I've got some perylene green, which is pretty much a dark green. And I'm going to do my favourite little gap filler shrub type of bush tree thing there. So I'll start... What does he say? Come off the painting, leave some windows in there. Okay, so I'll come here, leave some windows in there like that. And then I'm going to come here and make some darkness just like that. Now I've got to practice this. This is the actual shadow and the darkness of my shrubs. So I'm realising the bottom is going to have like this. It's not going to stop like that because that looks a little bit wrong. I'm going to wipe the heaviness off there and we'll get some shadow pulling out maybe. Just like that. Yeah, I'm liking that. Alright, I want to practice me fronds on a palm tree. Everything's dry, good, it's going to stick there. I like the way Ian taught how to paint a basic, simple palm tree, so I want to stick to that method. I don't want to look at too many different people and be confused. So, I'll follow that one method. I'll pick up my darkest green. Let's see if it's dark enough. I'll wet it a little bit because I remember him saying you've got to wet it for transferring. So I'm wetting it a little bit. And we'll look at the reference, get a rough idea what's hanging on out there. And he just starts from the middle. Yeah, that's dark enough, you can't see through it. Pull and make it scratch. Practice these fronds or prongs, a bit of scraggly bit hanging out there. And how's that looking? I'm liking that. I might want one a bit longer coming out here. So he said do it like a wheel first, but don't make it look like a wheel when it's finished. So pull, pull, pull. Now I'm happy with that. I like the way that scraggly bit did, so I'm going to do a bit more out on this one. Something scratching down there like that. pulling out there like that. Now he said the middle might look a bit skinny. You got to beef that up, so I'll work out on beefing that up as well. Get one down here over that cloud. Oh, that's nice. Break it through. It's just a basic palm. Okay, and a little scraggler. Okay, now I can understand what he said when you don't want that too skinny. So now I've got to beef that up. So I'll just do like he said. I'll put some points there and beef it up. Maybe another bit of a teary bit there. Beefing it up. Bit of a teary bit there. And the highlights, he said, is what brings everything forward. So I'm going to practice doing that as well. So I've done a trunk to a palm. Now I've practiced doing the prongs onto a palm. I've done that so many times. I've done it on here, ready to do my painting. So now we're going to practice highlighting it. Just go for some yellow green. I've got some yellow green here. So I want to try up here, highlighting. Highlighting. Pushing things backwards and forwards. This one can come in front of there, tearing down there, up there, pull through. Oh, it's a bit solid. I'll make sure I won't do it like that next time. It's a bit watery, that's why. Getting some of this just out here's highlighted, because that bit's behind. So I'm practicing putting prongs in front and behind each other. Now I'm going to add a bit of yellow, cadmium yellow to that to really the third dimension going. So before I put that on my painting, I want to pull a bit of this over here and just see if it's going to be the right yellow that I want. I'd rather do it here than on my painting. So now we can bring, but hang on a minute, my painting's very wet, so I'll dry it. And I think I want to get some sun just hitting the ends of these ones here. Not all of it. I'm working out what is being highlighted. Bit there, bit there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Maybe a little bit of light hitting it inside there. And this one's coming right from the... Drag it down, yes. I'll just simply grab the perylene green and I'll try and just jam in some where I feel some darkness might need to be. We're practicing shrubs. Just practice this shrub layout. I've done the darkness there. I'm grabbing the green colour that I want it to be, and what does he say? Go to the edge of the dark colour. And then stamp this on in the same pattern that you put the dark colour on there with. Leaving the shadow there. Okay, I've got my yellow-green highlighter colour. Now I'm going to practice highlighting. So what did he say again? Oh, that's right. I'll go right to the edge. Get a bit more on my brush. Nothing's coming off. Lightly does it. And not everywhere. Practice doing just less percentage of this colour. Coming down to the dark shadow area there, leaving the shadow. Okay, so we'll carefully highlight this now. Practice highlighting things in front. So I'll do just a bit of this bit sticking out, okay, and practice doing this, and then the body part I'll bring over past there, see? When it's not the right wetness and it's not transferring properly, it makes you want to press heavy and start turning your stuff into snot. So that's why I'm practicing. Now we can practice some shadows. Shadows could scare a beginner thinking they're going to ruin it. So let's practice how to get those shadows on so we're not too scared in our real painting. We've got some grey down here. I'm just going to try the filbert brush. Now I don't want it wet, I want it dryish. And we probably want something connecting it to the tree. Now I feel this brush isn't going to work because it's doing a lot of nonsense underneath, so I'm glad I'm practicing. That's no good. I maybe feel a small flat, but I've even got my little dagger here, that's even more controllable. So that bottom I wanted to make as the trunk, so we'll go about that wide now, try and fix that mistake up. And I suppose with the shadow you just need to really find the edges and scratch them in and then lacing out there. Probably another overhead tree, so I'll just sit that in there to make up for some more realism in my painting. I'm practicing bits that are going to make it look real. We've got little bits and bobs scurrying from here. Or maybe if I had a taller one there. There's some other overhead stuff that we can't see using the reference as a guide. That's why this shadow is there. Now a lot of things a beginner do forget, even some advanced beginners, is shadows casting on a tree trunk. So a palm tree is a good example to practice shadow casting on the trunk because it's a basic trunk. It's not a detailed forked tree and everything. So find the right colour and let's just get the right amount of water in the paint, and let's just try and get some I'm using the reference to get an idea what the pattern of the shadow looks like, and we've pretty much got stuff like that coming over the trunk. Just put the slightest amount of black into that grey shadow colour because I looked at the reference and there's a heavier part of this shadow, so I'm just gradually scratching that in, and when I'm looking at it I feel it's making more of a real shadow, and maybe some bits in this here right down the bottom there. It just makes it more dimensional, more realistic. Now here's another thing you can practice with your shrubs. You've got that one shrub there. Let's just put something off and out from it. So grabbing your dark colour again, we'll just use the Perylene green, and we'll put something, let's say here. So we'll get the base of it just shadowed onto the ground about there somewhere around. Now I'm going to pull some of this out. So I want you to notice what I've done there with the shadow. I want this hanging over, and for that to happen it needs its shadow there. Now we simply highlight that. So grabbing the same brush, using the green that we used, get something there. Now I'm grabbing the yellow green and I want to get the back side done first. And we'll come along here, what we're going to highlight. I'm picking up the yellow mixed with the yellow green just for a brighter highlight. This branch is coming out, the highlights are distinguishing it. There's another one about here because of his shadow I've made there. Okay. And you've practiced another shrub. It's not floating on the ground, we've got a shadow connected to it. So you'll know when doing a painting that when you do that, it's going to work. Okay, we'll sign our painting. It's always good to practice your signature as well. That's another element a lot of us don't probably do enough of. Because when you've done a good painting, you want a reasonably artistic looking signature on your painting. I've seen some beautiful paintings and such a grade 5 autograph on it, and I'm sure you have as well. Nothing against the artist, but just visually I prefer to see something a bit more artistic, and if you do too, well, that's great. Practice doing your signature in an artistic way as well. It can be your full name, your first letter and then your last name, or it can be just your initials, it can be a symbol, whatever. Design your autograph. My first ever art signature was totally different to this. And just for those of you who might want to know what it did look like, where are we? I'll do it up here. You might see it on some very old art of mine in my art photos in my Facebook page, in my albums, my art. I simply did my name like that, and then this eye came up. It was just pretty much like that. But anyway, we've practiced some art, we've practiced doing some skies, just on some basic cardboard. We've practiced doing some water, and I know it will work out a lot more artistically, visually pleasing to the eye on canvas. This is just on appliance cardboard. So we can have a look just to see what it looks like. Just simple appliance cardboard. There we go. There's a microwave. Practice is the key. Even you advanced beginners, still practice. You're never too good to know everything, okay? We're always practicing every day. Self-analyze your work and you can do it. Well, I hope you learnt something out of this video, how to practice your art. We all need to do it and we don't do it enough. Be sure to share, like and subscribe. Tell your friends if you like what I'm doing. Check out my other video. Tell your friends if you don't like what I'm doing. Goodbye, good luck and good on you.